I know y'all gotta go. You gonna tell folks why nobody wants to be in Memphis, or you want me to do it? It's a great sports town, great fans, great people. But there's an element there where cats like Jimmy Butler and others don't feel it's the safest environment. I'm talking to the local authorities in Memphis.
The pain I ingest, I retain, assess and I change. Possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from society's restraints, money, clout, and fame, mud, disease, a plague. We all love to hate, have to play the game, have to make a name. All our insecurities are on this.
Welcome to this edition of Bow. I'm your host as always, Steve Dixon. Glad you join us here on Bow. We talk about sportscaster Stephen A. Smith of ESPN Sports Tape had made comments, made derogatory statements about Memphis, about the NBA players did not want to play in Memphis. We'll get to in a minute, but first thing first, join in the conversation using the hashtag viral. Don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe is king. Tell a friend, call a friend, hit that subscribe button so you won't miss a thing. Here on Viral, we talk about ESPN sportscaster, the host of First Take, Stephen A. Smith, saying that the NBA players have come to him like Jimmy Butler, he allegedly says, came to him and said that they don't want to play in Memphis. They feel like Memphis is a dangerous city and Memphis is a crime city. Well, the citizens of Memphis speaks out and let Stephen A. Smith know that this city is all about heritage, legacy, and respect. Let's hear what Stephen A. Smith had said first.
A well-known sports commentator says high-paid professional basketball players don't want to come to the Bluff City due to crime. City leaders and lawmakers are quickly sounding off, saying that's not true. Hello, I'm Greg Hurst.
They've got a lot to say. I'm Stephanie Skurlock. Others say the perception of the city is now on the line. WREG's Brian Didlake has been gathering reaction tonight, and he joins us live from FedEx Forum. Brian?
Stephanie, Greg, this comment from Stephen A. Smith about public safety and concerns to Memphis came as the Memphis Grizzlies was already in the news for a recent trade. But folks we spoke with today say with the additional comments from Smith are not completely true.
You ain't been to Memphis, you ain't pulled up on Memphis, you ain't worked in the city or lived here, bro, you can't talk about the city.
Trey Draper, a former University of Memphis Tiger, reacting after this.
The people in Memphis is a great sports town, great fans, great people. But there's an element there where cats like Jimmy Butler and others don't feel it's the safest environment.
Sports commentator Stephen A. Smith on ESPN's First Take claiming Memphis's crime rate is a deterrent for talent. Smith calling on the city to, quote, clean it up.
They have talked about it. I know they've told me.
John Morant responding to the viral clip, firing off tweets on X, reading in part, talking about the Grizz more than the finals with these Cap and A sources, ending the series reaffirming he will stay in the 901. Smith firing back hours later, not backing down, he posted, "Would you prefer I go into detail about what the heck has been going on in Memphis? Why players have stated they're not interested in going, or even more details."
Have you heard any of what he's been claiming online?
I've never heard it, and neither have you. I mean, people, as somebody that's from here, and people that actually visit here, that play here, they love it. You know, they want to come back.
But state lawmaker Brent Taylor called Smith's statement a wake-up call for Memphis. Taylor wrote on social media, "Our city's reputation is taking a hit, and it's not just about basketball. It's about our community, our pride, and our future."
We need the viewers of WREG and others to understand that we have more going for us.
Ted Townsend, who leads the Greater Memphis Chamber, says the economy in Memphis is growing faster than ever before.
We have 44 projects that are currently under management in our economic development pipeline right now. So those are 44 shots on goal.
Draper and others don't deny there's still a problem with crime in the city, but with many working to change the reality, he believes the perception will also change.
The way we rally together on Twitter and on Instagram and on Facebook, that we need to rally together in the city like that.
And now both Draper and city leaders like the Greater Memphis Chamber have invited Stephen A. Smith to the Bluff City to show everyone what the city truly is about. For now, we're live here in downtown Memphis. Brian Didlake for your news leader, WREG, Channel 3.
All right, Brian, thanks. And just a short time ago, Mayor Paul Young weighed in on Smith's statement, telling Smith he is welcome here anytime, saying Just don't bet against us. Memphis doesn't stay down. He also touted lower crime stats and called the people of Memphis unmatched.
As you saw right there, Stephen A. Smith said some derogatory statements about the city of Memphis, about the crime, about the safety. Hey, Stephen A. Smith got his own opinion, and Stephen A. Smith saying that NBA players don't want to play with the Memphis Grizzlies, which is the NBA team of Memphis. Well, that sparked up an outburst and a riot amongst itself. Here's what some people had to say, and here's the people of Memphis, the citizens of Memphis, fighting back on what Stephen A. Smith said. Take a look.
Well, understandably so, Memphians don't like it when outsiders have anything bad to say about the home of the Blues. ESPN's Stephen A. Smith got some heat for saying the city's crime makes NBA players too afraid to live here. Well, ABC 24's Kevin McNamara went down to Beale Street this afternoon, just steps away from where the Grizzlies play, to see how Memphians felt about Stephen A. Smith's remarks.
ESPN personality Stephen A. Smith doubled down on his comments Wednesday after facing backlash, saying, quote, "Facts are facts," and pointing to FBI Director Kash Patel's statements last month, calling Memphis the homicide capital of America. It's not a sentiment shared by everyone in the Bluff City.
And I was a little bit surprised and very disappointed, because I think with any major metropolitan city, you're going to have a mixture of, well-to-do people and a mixture of, working class people and a mixture of people who are struggling. We hang out every time that I'm in Memphis. I have my daughter with me. She's never afraid.
Still, there are some lifelong Memphians who understand why the national perception of the city is what it is.
Well, I feel it. To be honest with you, the numbers prove it. So, we've kind of missed the mark on containing that and responding to it. How do you argue with it?
Well-known Memphians like Mayor Young, alongside key organizations, have defended the city strongly in the wake of the comments. That includes someone who knows a thing or two about Memphis.
Most of it is stuff that happens after 2 a.m. in the morning. I've been down there 7 years and coming every week and never seen any problems.
Jerry Lawler saying on Wednesday he feels safe whenever he's out and about.
Yeah, absolutely. Look at turn the camera around. Just look at these people. Hi, everybody.
No matter what ESPN personalities may say, Memphians are ready to speak up on behalf of the Bluff City.
Memphis is a great city. I've lived here my entire life. It's a great town. Go Grizz.
Come to Memphis, have fun. Grizzlies, let's go. Take care.
For ABC 24, I'm Kevin McNamara.
The citizens of Memphis not holding back one bit. They feel like Memphis is a safe city. You even saw Jerry the King Lawler, one of the Memphis icons, saying that Memphis is not what you say it think it is. And Stephen A. Smith just making up stuff as he go. And Stephen A. Smith just being that way. Well, like we said, it all boils down to that. Let's hear what you people had to say. You people had a lot to say about Stephen A. Smith criticizing the city of Memphis being a crime, not safe city. Let's hear what you people had to say on the People Say.
And listening to Screaming A. Smith say what he had to say about NBA players, saying they don't feel safe living in Memphis. I want everybody to do this for me. Please, do this for me. Pull up a clip or an interview of the hundreds of NBA players that have played for the Memphis Grizzlies and lived in Memphis. And see if you can find any one of them that said they felt unsafe living here. Don't tell me about the opinion of somebody that never lived here or played here, somebody who doesn't visit here. Don't tell me about that. Show me a clip of a Memphis Grizzlies player or a Memphis Tigers basketball player, or a Memphis Lady Tigers basketball player that said they came to the city of Memphis and didn't feel safe living here. And if you show me one, I'll be like, okay, cool, gotcha. So this narrative that Screaming A. Smith and all these other national media members keep trying to paint about Memphis, It's wrong. It's dead ass wrong. They keep trying to move Ja Morant out of the Memphis. They need to get rid of him. Are they going to get rid of him? They creating the narrative. They're trying to create the conversation because they're trying to create that energy. Memphis Grizzlies, they need to blow it up. Okay, we just traded Desmond Bain. Tough dude to lose, great player. Why in the hell would anybody trade a generational talent like Ja Morant he's 25 years old? Why would you do that? You don't get a Ja Morant in a draft all the time. You don't get a Jaren Jackson Jr. in the draft all the time. Why they keep trying to spin these narratives? Why you think they keep doing it? But I pose that question. Have you ever heard Screaming A. Smith to anybody say, an unnamed Memphis Grizzlies player that don't want to be named said they don't feel safe living there? An unnamed Memphis Grizzlies player who used to play for the Memphis Grizzlies told me they never felt safe living there. Them dudes don't get robbed. They don't get touched. Their property don't get touched. Ja Morant has home burglarized, but that's by a group of people who was burglarizing homes all across the country. And a lot of them don't even live in Memphis. They just work here. So I ask you all, man, because the scriptures say you got to always hear two sides of the story. Investigate. Don't just go off somebody that's pushing narratives. Somebody that's extremely uneducated on a lot of things, but use a lot of big words to make himself sound smart. Screaming A. Smith. The pomposity of that dude. And the stuff that is allowed to come out of his mouth on national television, man, is ridiculous. Dude is the epitome of a junk food journalist. Damn a first take, hot take. He's a junk food journalist. So that's my definition of him from now on. Screaming A. Smith, Stephen A. Smith, junk food journalist. Because all they trying to do is feed people junk food. But my question, show me a clip of some of a Memphis Grizzly player that said they don't feel safe living here in the city of Memphis. Or a former Grizzly player that said they didn't feel safe living here. Even Chandler Parsons, who tried to crush Memphis every chance he get, he was out here allegedly breaking all kinds of laws. Ain't nobody mess with him. All praises to the Most High. So Screaming A. Smith had the nerves of putting my beautiful city, Memphis, in his mouth and on his lips. He said NBA stars like Jimmy Butler have told him they don't feel safe in Memphis, that crime in Memphis is preventing some of these big stars from wanting to come here. And he said he's talking to the local authorities. You've got to clean some of that stuff up. First of all, Screaming A. Smith, let me tell you this. Crime is everywhere. Crime is everywhere. And let me say this. Over the years, I'm from Memphis. Inner city Memphis. I've lived amongst the. I'm from Memphis. And I've rarely, some NBA players have been more of a problem in the city and in the streets than cats from Memphis. I know some NBA players that play for the Memphis Grizzlies since the Grizzlies have been here, was out in the streets around these same Memphians that you say they scared of, acting a damn fool. And they got pass after pass after pass because of who they are. Them same dudes you saying that NBA players are afraid of are the same dudes that was giving those players passes, even though a lot of those players were being disrespectful and being reckless. They was giving them passes. I know because I used to get the phone calls, and I still get the phone calls sometimes at midnight Sometimes they're one. So to sit up, and we don't need you saying anything to our local authorities screaming, eh? Clean up your act. That's what you do. Don't worry about what we doing. That's crime everywhere. And name me one Memphis Grizzly player that you've seen on the news or heard on the news that got robbed, that got assaulted, that got touched. They may have gotten their car stolen, but they get cars stolen everywhere. They may have gotten their houses broken in, but that doesn't happen often. NBA players in Memphis are more protected and safer than, they damn safer than the mayor of Memphis. The mayor of Memphis gets assaulted. NBA players don't. The Grizzlies players don't. They get shown love. They get shown respect. So for people listening and screaming, A. Smith, he knows nothing about Memphis. And I hate to use double negatives. He doesn't know anything about Memphis. Nothing at all. I bet he don't even know how to spell Memphis. So Stephen A. Smith, you don't rock here, man. You don't know anything about it. We don't want Jimmy Butler here anyway, if that's what he said. And if he told you that, what you repeating it for? I bet there's other cities that Jimmy Butler said he don't feel safe playing in. And if he said that, that's just an excuse. I'm going to tell people again, man, NBA players, professional athletes in Memphis are safer than anybody else that's in the city. Because cats give them respect. Cats give them love. Cats show them reverence. Even if they drunk and acting a fool. And Tony Allen and Z-Boy are two dudes who they didn't do any of that. Used to be, I just saw Desmond Bain and Jaron Jackson Jr. at my guy Mike Cook's boxing match a week ago. Getting shown all kinds of love. And there was goons in there. So don't believe that stuff. Hey, Screaming A. Smith, keep our name out your mouth, dog. That's for real. All praises to the Most High.
So to keep things short, yesterday on First Take, Stephen A. Smith went out and said the reason why big-time free agents aren't going to Memphis to play for the Grizzlies is because the city is too dangerous. And rightfully so, you have Ja Morant coming out on Twitter defending his team, his city, and the city that has embraced him. Now look, man, I've been to Memphis a few times. There's nice parts and there's bad parts, right? But that's in every single city, whether you're in Memphis, Los Angeles, Chicago, I'm from Richmond, DC, wherever you go, every city has their good and bad parts. Yes, in some cities, they may have a higher crime rate, especially on violent crimes. But to be honest, the real reason why I think big-time free agents don't go to Memphis is just because it's Memphis. And I'm not saying that in a bad way, but you got to think about it. When you're a big-time superstar like a LeBron, a Kobe, etc., right? Unless you're drafted to that city, like LeBron was drafted to Cleveland or Ja Morant was drafted to Memphis, guys really aren't picking to be in those small market cities. And yes, if you're a star player and you're from there or you just love the culture that Memphis, Detroit, Cleveland, Oklahoma City, etc. has, yes, of course you will go there and play for them. But for the most part, if you're a star player, those guys are trying to go somewhere with a big market where they can have their brand be even bigger. And there's nothing wrong with playing for Memphis, right? You know, whether it's Memphis, Detroit, Cleveland, Oklahoma City, I don't know, San Antonio, etc., right? But for the most part, you don't really see big-time players playing for those teams unless they were traded there or they were drafted by those teams. It just comes down to lifestyle, right? It depends on what you like. I know guys like Giannis said he loves the small market city. Some guys love that stuff. Some guys love, you know, playing in a big market. I have NFL friends. I have friends who love being in Green Bay. They say they love it. They're focused. They love the small, no distractions. Some guys hate it. They want to be in a city where they can do things. And really, it just comes down to what you like, right? Some guys love big cities like New York. Some guys, you know, choose the beach and the warm weather in Miami or LA over Memphis. I mean, it is what it is. As far as the safety goes, I mean, most athletes know how to move, right? You know, you get your big contract, you get a house out in the burbs, you get a penthouse downtown, very secured. You know, you stay out the way, you're not in the mix. I mean, we all know that. To be honest, if you're playing for a team like Memphis and you're the star player like a Ja Morant, the city probably embraces you and won't even touch you as long as you're not causing any problems. But what do you guys think? Why do you think most players don't go to Memphis? Like, comment, and follow for more content.
ESPN created a monster the minute they gave Stephen A. Smith that money. They gave a whole bunch of money to somebody that can dish it out but can't take it. Every time I look up, Stephen A. Smith is picking a fight with a different NBA player. First, it was Tyrese Halliburton just a few days ago. After Game 3, Tyrese Halliburton said a lot of these pundits and talking heads don't really know basketball. Didn't name Stephen A. Smith specifically, but guess what? Stephen A., like he does, made it about him. And then got on First Take and basically threw shots at Tyrese Halliburton trying to start a beef. And now You want to get on TV and talk about Memphis like you're the aficionado for crime rates in America for every city. And John Morant responds because he plays for Memphis, and he suggests that maybe you should talk more about the finals and less about Memphis. To which you replied, maybe I should talk about the real reason people don't want to come to Memphis. Should I do that? Basically threatening John Morant that if you don't be quiet, I can bring up the real reason, like you have some bombshell report that we don't know about. This is all weird. You just got the bag. Why are you starting to pick fights with everybody? For somebody that just got caught not doing their job and playing solitaire instead, you would think you would just lay low or just be cool, keep everything kosher. No. It's the same thing. It's another day at the office for Stephen A. Let's find another person to pick a fight with. Let's be sensitive. Because God forbid anybody say anything to or about Stephen A. Stephen A can say what he want about you, when he want, how he want, and you got to sit there and take it. But if you come back at him and respond to it, oh no, we can't do that. Now it's a fight. Bro, when did Stephen A. Smith get so sensitive? Honest question. Hit the like, hit the follow. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Peace. ESPN created a monster the minute they gave Stephen A. Smith that money. They gave a whole bunch of money to somebody that can dish it out but can't take it. Every time I look up, Stephen A. Smith is picking a fight with a different NBA player. First, it was Tyrese Halliburton just a few days ago. After Game 3, Tyrese Halliburton said a lot of these pundits and talking heads don't really know basketball. Didn't name Stephen A. Smith specifically, but guess what? Stephen A., like he does, made it about him and then got on First Take and basically threw shots at Tyrese Halliburton trying to start a beef. And now you want to get on TV and talk about Memphis like you're the aficionado for crime rates in America for every city. And John Morant responds because he plays for Memphis, and he suggests that maybe you should talk more about the finals and less about Memphis. To which you replied, maybe I should talk about the real reason people don't want to come to Memphis. Should I do that? Basically threatening John Morant that if you don't be quiet, I can bring up the real reason, like you have some bombshell report that we don't know about. This is all weird. You just got the bag. Why are you starting to pick fights with everybody? For somebody that just got caught not doing their job and playing solitaire instead, you would think you would just lay low or just be cool, keep everything kosher. No. It's the same thing. It's another day at the office for Stephen A. Let's find another person to pick a fight with. Let's be sensitive. Because God forbid anybody say anything to or about Stephen A. Stephen A can say what he want about you, when he want, how he want, and you got to sit there and take it. But if you come back at him and respond to it, oh no, we can't do that. Now it's a fight. Bro, when did Stephen A. Smith get so sensitive? Honest question. Hit the like, hit the follow. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Peace.
John Morant versus Stephen A. Smith?
Yeah!
Check it out. It seems like Stephen A. Smith is making a lot of enemies, and now it's John Morant who called them out because Stephen A. Smith went on ESPN and he said,
the people in Memphis is a great sports town, great fans, great people. Yeah. But there's an element there where cats like Jimmy Butler and others don't feel it's the safest environment. I'm talking to the local authorities in Memphis. You got to clean some of that stuff up because it's dissuasive to NBA players. They have talked about it. I know, they've told me.
Now, once that segment aired, John Morant had a lot to say loading off these tweets, talking about the Grizz more than the finals with these cap-ass sources. Instead of focusing on the performance we seen from J-Dub and Sha, TJ and Siakam, How is the series going? We say something negative about a city and team on a national level, and I'm going to be in that 901. Source me. If it's one thing about Jives, he's going to ride from Memphis. But Stephen A. Smith said, oh, if you got something to say, I'm going to respond. Stephen A. would say, so this is what we're doing now, John Morant? I recall talking about the finals, but the Memphis Grizzlies made news because of Bane getting traded and your possible extension coming up. Would you prefer I go into detail about what the hell has been going on in Memphis? Why players have stated they are not interested in going? Or even more details? Like me to leave well enough alone and let the great peeps of Memphis address it on their own? Your call, I'm all ears. Damn, Stephen A. Smith won't smoke with Memphis and with Ja. But you guys got to let me know in the comments, is Ja doing the right thing, standing up for the Memphis Grizzlies, standing up for Memphis, or is Ja just being too sensitive? Let me know what you think in the comments.
You people defending Memphis, some of y'all are citizens of Memphis, and my congratulations to you that, hey, Memphis is no different than other city, that they're going to have some crime. Any city in the world is going to have crime. Crime is everywhere. You just can't escape it. You can't rearrange it and nothing like that. Crime just here, and you just have to know how to pinpoint it and not be in it. And hey, I've been to Memphis myself. I went to a mall in Memphis one time when I made a visit, and I think it was Wolf Chase or something like that. And I was looking around, and I was thinking the same thing that Stephen A. Smith was thinking. And I came back knowing that certain parts of Memphis is that, and there's certain parts of Memphis that's safe. So we can't just pinpoint one thing and do another. You got to give the city opportunity. Even the mayor said that he wants to invite Stephen A. Smith to see for himself on how Memphis is. So maybe Stephen A. Smith may have to take the mayor on his offer next time. Thank you all for watching this edition of Vibe. We talked about Stephen A. Smith claiming that Memphis is a dangerous city, but really it ain't. He just talking out his head. I've been your host, Kendrick Dick, saying so long. We'll see you next time for another edition of Vibe. Everyone, welcome to this edition of Vibe on the Vibe Preview. We talk about ESPN sportscaster Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith making some rare comments and some derogatory comments about the city of Memphis, saying that the city is dangerous, is not safe due to its crime. Well, the citizens of Memphis fight back and tell Stephen A. Smith that, hey, you haven't been in the city to make a judgment. You need to come to the city for yourself and see how it is and stuff. Stephen A. Smith may have to take them on their offer if he had said all that. We'll get to the net latest on the next edition of Viral as Stephen A. Smith criticized the city of Memphis of not being dangerous and not safe on the next edition of Viral.